Oh, Canada! Omnipoke made this tier list. We're going to use this one. Everything that I want to represent might not be on here, but we'll work with it. I didn't feel like making my own. You have to, like, make all the images and save them and put them in a folder, then put them into tier maker. It's a mess. Okay, so obviously we're going to put Mew in S, right? Mew is S tier. And then I think Gengar goes in tier 1 just because it handles Mew, and Single Strike goes in tier 1 because it also handles Mew, and they're functioning decks that are proven to work that got better with Ultra Ball and Choice Belt. All of these got better with Ultra Ball, Choice Belt, and Mew also got better with Double Turbo Energy. There's a few decks I want to put in 1.5. Yeah, Mew, this format is easy S tier. Easier than last format. Like, Mew is just bonkers good. I think Jolteon goes in tier 2. I can do that right now. Put this down here. I need to add a row below. Remember that tier lists are subjective and arbitrary. I think tier 2 are good decks that can top 8 or even win an event. In my IRL testing, Ice Rider Arceus with Inteleon's been fine, but none of the decks felt good on PTCGO in the past hour or so. These are both the same deck pretty much for me. I don't know what this is. Jolt isn't cooked this format. I promise you Jolteon's still going to perform. These are both the same deck. So I'll just put one of them up there. I have too much in tier 1.5. Let's just take this out of there. Oh, best of the world. Let's go. Let's go. That makes me happy. Dragapult VMAX, I can't... I can't see Dragapult VMAX being a high tier contender. We'll put it here. So I think the way I would explain it is S tier and tier 1 are decks that I think have a low skill floor and a medium skill ceiling. Actually, I wouldn't even say a medium skill ceiling. They have a skill ceiling. Like, it's there. But they have a low skill floor. Mew is obviously best deck. And even if Mew gets beat by multiple other decks, some of these other decks are up there because of their good Mew matchup. But 1.5 and up, I think, are all great tournament choices. If you know how to play them. Baby Dark, Bird Box, Malamar, and Suicune Ludi are all very pilot heavy. They're all very, like, depending on how well you're playing the deck, I think. For Baby Dark, Bird Box, Rapid Strike Mally, and Suicune Ludi. Whereas Mew VMAX, Single Strike Gengar, Single Strike Urshi, and Ice Rider, I wouldn't say are as dependent on the player's skill. Zartan 2.5 makes you Sag. I just think that's where it is. It's solid, it's good, it's playable. I guess if that's there, this should be here too. Like, Mew VMAX is what we all want to beat. Tier 1 are the next two decks really heavily on my radar. And then Tier 1.5, we've got, like, these single prize decks that have to prove themselves. So, like, Tier 1.5, I think a couple might go up to Tier 1, a couple might come down to Tier 2 after we get some results. For Raihan, for Moltres. That's interesting. The way I've been playing it is with Heat Fire and Big Charms to make your Zards and your Enteis bulkier. I think I'd rather just combine all this into Tier 3. I don't even really need a separation for these decks. What would I say is tier 2.5? I don't know if I'd say anything is. I've tested Mew. I've tested Gengar. I've tested Single Strike. I've tested Baby Dark, Bird Box, Ice Rider with and without Arceus, Rapid Strike Malamar. Suicune Ludi doesn't change, and I know it's still good. Jolteon, Charizard, Raichu Box, Tool Drop. Arceus Dark. Several variants of Arceus Dark. So I've tested all those, the rest are theory. Leafeon, Garbodor, Muck, Bibarel. I'll see it when I believe it, Coolth. Yeah, we're going to put the decks that already were getting results last format in 2.5. Like the decks that have proven themselves, kind of. Or like that we know function. I don't think Entei Ludi stacks up to Suicune Ludi. I think Entei should be built like on its own. Is 2.5 you shouldn't play them in a tournament? No. .5 is more like have a good reason why you're playing them in the tournament, the matchups that you are prepared for, and if either their inconsistencies or underwhelmingness don't carry you, then you kind of went in expecting that. Like Zacian Zamazenta, very consistent deck. But I believe that it caps at a certain point, right? Zacian Zamazenta is just a very consistent deck that does what it does. It can beat people because it's consistent, but it has a cap where it just stops being good if your opponent's playing like a VMAX deck that actually functions and they're doing things that they should be doing, then Zacian starts to feel quite bad. Sylveon Box, which I think should be played with Arceus now and not Octillery, has the tools to beat most things, but it's inconsistent because of all the tools that it has. Leafeon, I just think is underwhelming, kind of like Zacian is, and then Victini hammers. I don't even know. Ask Layboy about this one because I don't know, but it gets some results, so I'll leave it at that. And then, yo, Rahul, thank you for the raid. Rahul, did you migrate your account? I saw your screenshot and you had, like, a lot of gems. So I'm curious about the gems. Oh, Rahul, you're there for good. Man, we're out here playing PTCGO. We built some decks on PTCGO. No, because Choice Belt exists. A wild drummer. I don't want to migrate. I don't want to migrate my account because I want to play an event still. Like, I want to play in limitless events. Right, yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah, I also built decks on live. I have decks on both right now. Sword is anything? Yeah, but there's nothing you want to do more damage to that's not a V. If you want to continue playing in the team challenge, you can't migrate. That's correct. Rahul, give me some of your opinions here, buddy. If you have a minute to stick around. I'd love to hear what you think about this here tier list. Basically, the top two tiers are the ones that I expect to play against, like, guaranteed once, maybe twice in 9 rounds. Tier 1.5, those are kind of the ones that I need to prove themselves. A couple might go up, a couple might go down, but I think they're fine against the spread of themselves plus the top 3 decks. And then tier 2 are like on the cusp. Either we have to wait for the meta to form more, or we need to make the lists better for the tier 2 decks. Tier 2.5 are decks that proved themselves last format, and I think have gotten worse just because there's more better decks that are coming out, but they're still there and they're still viable decks. And then tier 3 are decks that function and can win games in a tournament, but, like, they're not the best choices. Hoopamult. Yeah, I call it Hoopamult too. This is Omnipoke's tier list because I didn't want to make my own images. So if he says it's Moltres and Teleon, it's Moltres and Teleon, because I didn't have to make a tier list template. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one, Lauren. I'm glad you brought it up. I haven't put Rapid Strike Urshifu Melanie anywhere yet. Probably tier 2 for now. Because tier 2 are kind of the things that I'm depending on the meta and or, like, new iterations of lists. I don't know about you, but I'm actually pretty stoked for single prize decks right now. Like, Hoopamult, Birdbox, Malamar, all feel really good. I need convincing they can deal with their gatekeepers. Would the gatekeepers just be bench damage? Well, I don't think Urshifu beats Hoopa anymore with Manaphy in the picture. Did I say Hoopa? I meant Malamar. I forget which one I said. Oh yeah, and it auto loses to Doraludin. Urshifu and Suicune Ludi are really hard ones for me to evaluate because not enough people play them because not enough people play them well. So, like, we have oodles of data of Single Strike and Gengar, and even Hoopamult, and Jolteon, and Leafeon, and Mew, and Zacian, but we don't have as much data on Suicune Ludi and Melanie Urshifu, because they're harder decks to pilot. I think, yeah, I like Suicune better than Entei for the Ludi package, but I want to build an Entei deck that's, like, beefy Entei. Like, actually, do I have a list in... I might have a list that I made for the video yesterday or the other day. Let me see. You have an Entei deck. Yeah. Something like this. That's focused on, like, trying to be beefy with the Heat Fire plus Capes. I haven't tested this deck at all. This is just a draft I threw together. But that's what I was trying to think. That's what I was kind of thinking for Entei, like, oh, Tate's here. He's gonna add 4 crushing hammers to it and call it his own deck. God, who let him in? Kindler is 5th research. Kindler, in my eyes, is 5th research in this deck. Yeah, Entei is Suicune that you don't have to play Melanie for, which is nice. And you also have a solid single prize attacker that, like, so if you do 220 with Entei, then Moltres cleans up most things. Yeah, I've been brewing with Entei a lot. And then, like, an Entei, I think an Entei Ludicolo list is like I think an Entei Ludi list is a lot more like obvious. Because, like, you just take Suicune Ludi but make it Entei. And then here's my Charizard Entei list. Again, trying to focus on that, make them bulky, heat fire. Like, Charizard V-Star with a heat fire and a big charm plus 1 Magma Basin ping is 310 HP on a 2-prizer. I think that could be scary. Sexy Wormadam list. I saw Omnipoke playing earlier with like a Zoroark stage 1s deck, and that looked hype. That I got a little bit high off the copium from that one. Oh, you did that too? I think you both might have been live at the same time. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if he posted it anywhere. I'll probably make a YouTube video out of it. But yeah, Joe made it like Zoro's, and then it's like more Zoro box based than it is Wormadam based. It also has the Golisopod, and it also has Moltres with some basic dark energies. Shadow Rider's still bad. Oh wait. I just realized that Joe didn't put Whimsicott on this tier list. There's no Whimsicott or Whimsicott Shadow Rider. But I guess they don't matter. I'll just toss Shadow Rider in tier 3. We'll put Suicune without Ludicolo in tier 2. I think we'll call the tier list a day right there. But yeah, Rahul was saying that maybe Hoopa could go up. Very well might be able to go up. Bro, this is Joe Bernard from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon's tier list. Yeah, this is actually just not a deck.